So for this video, we're going to be playing some traditional, good old-fashioned, boring Tribunal. And yeah, I mean, not everybody finds this deck or this play style boring, don't get me wrong. And I certainly like to play control decks, but the more I play Legends, and maybe it's just because I've been playing this game for so long and I played when Control Mage was at the height of its power and so on and so forth, I I just find this playstyle to be somewhat boring because it's incredibly reactive, and a lot of times you don't have anything to do if your opponent hasn't played anything. So to counteract that, I've tried to throw in a couple more proactive cards. I wanted to try out Apex Wolf anyway. We've got Vivek and Hallowed Death Priest, and we do have a bit of the Necromancer package. We are also running Piercing Twilight. I mean, there's some new stuff in here, and there are some ways to attempt to be a little bit more proactive so that maybe I don't fall asleep. But anyway, we're going to play some traditional Control Tribunal and see how it holds up. So this is a deck testing video. We're going to play 2 games, win or lose, and showcase the results one way or the other. So Tribunal is Tribunal. I don't even know what to really say about it at this point. It has its pretty standard skeleton of very action-heavy reactive removal, guards in the early game. I'm trying to run in this enough of the Necromancer package to really provide that as a toolbox. So it's actually funny that I'm talking about that as this comes up. So Dark Guardian is something I'm including, for example, because you can use Necromancers to bring this back. I know other versions of Tribunal in the past have run like Tree Minder and things like that, but I wanted to run some cards that were easier to get back. And yeah, okay, so my opponent just decided to auto-concede. And that was fast. I don't know what was going on there. So what we're going to do is probably still play 2 games. I don't think we're going to count that one. That one was a bit quick. Apparently they just didn't want to play against Tribunal. And honestly, I don't blame them, because I also hate playing against Control Tribunal. And here's the thing. It's not even that it is a difficult deck to play against. It's actually pretty linear, pretty straightforward when you play against it. I just don't have fun when I play against it. Every game kind of feels roughly the same. And instead, now we're going to get queued into Immortal August. Friend of the stream, fantastic player, quality opponent, and they're going to be on what I assume will be Conscription Talvani. Immortal might be playing Nixox. I've seen him play both, but essentially we're going to get stuck being the proactive player here. There's no way we can late game them, out resource value them. There's just not a way that we can do it. So we're going to try to be proactive, because if we give them cards, who cares? And if we give them a lot of cards, then maybe we can get them to actually burn something.
Wrong place for a midnight stroll.
So we're just gonna pretend like we're a mid-range player that isn't sitting on an Odahviing and a Necromancer, and we're gonna try to punch them in the face. They're gonna likely take that and blackhand it, if I had to guess. That makes the most sense. Or at least they're setting that up for a future blackhand. That's a solid pickup for us.
Wrong place for a midnight stroll.
Alright. If they're on Nixox, this could be potentially huge for us. But I would prefer to not play this on curve. We have a lot of 4-drops in this deck, and more than any other card, I would much prefer to find a 4-drop before that time, and we did not. Alright, so now I have to decide, do I want to prevent this from trading and letting him ramp? And I think the answer is yes.
Wrong place.
It does make both of our creatures weak to Ice Storm, but I think that's the better play, because again we're trying to pressure.
By the 8th, they
Thorn
will
Hist
meet
Mage
their
would have been a problem. Alright, Daggerfall's an interesting card to see. Archcannon's a pretty good pickup for us.
Wrong place for a midnight stroll.
Necromancer's an okay card to eat. Wished that it would have been something else. I would have liked to get more information about the kind of deck we're playing against. But sadly, not much we could do there. Alright, that works out relatively well for us. This is the one that we would want to survive. Doesn't matter. And then they're going to fire Bloom to clear. Nothing surprising about that turn of events whatsoever. So we're just going to try to slow down this scout. Again, we're going to try to utilize our toolbox Dark Guardian package here. Our opponent has a lot of cards, but it's Telvanni. They always have a lot of cards.
I have you now.
August making the heads-up play. That makes this a almost like a must-deal with threat in some regards. And while we have the lightning bolt, we didn't want to use it there. Still getting over my cold, so. We do also have Ice Storm, which could potentially clear a bunch, but not fully clear that, which makes that moderately annoying. We do have the Archcannon play. There's a lot that we could do here, but we don't like a lot of it because we don't want these skulks to hit us if we can help it. And if he really is on conscription, we would also prefer to save our Ice Storms in a scenario like this. So this is a bit of a tough call. There's a strong case to be made for just Archcannon to pump stuff, see what we draw, and swing. So I actually think that's what we're gonna do.
The tribunal will always come
It's
to the
a
people's
bit of a risk.
aid. Behold the tribunal's power.
So if we give this Drain and Guard, this can still push through. We give this Drain and Guard, we negate one. He gives something over here, Drain and Guard. I feel like this is still the play though, because we want to try to slow him down. The Gourmet is a good pickup.
Behold my power.
Yeah, we'll just push. I don't think we even want to trade there. Like, if they pick up 2 more Cruel Fire Blooms, it's not the end of the world. Gourmet's a good pickup for us the following turn, depending on what survives. Eating that Black Hand would feel pretty good. Oof, we might not get a chance to eat that Black Hand though. Yeah.
For the Black Hand.
At least not with our Gourmet. Alright, we are almost certainly going to be eating at least 1 Cruel Fire Bloom here. And we want this to land on the 1-2 really badly. Yeah, that helped us out a lot. That helped us out a lot. Marak's a good pickup for us as well. Because we have the Odiving, I'm okay with using our Ice Storm here because it's a full clear, denies the drain, leaves us with 2 bodies. That's a reasonable Ice Storm, even with us potentially expecting Conscription in the near future. We do still have Odiving for the first one. It's just multiple Conscriptions that'll be a problem. Everything I'm seeing right now, in all honesty, I mean, it doesn't say Daggerfall. Daggerfall's throwing me. It doesn't really say Nixox because Daggerfall's not typically played there. I mean, this could just be traditional control, I guess, too. Apex Wolf, decent pickup for us right now. They do have the 1 black hand there, so I kind of don't want him to have like one or the other. Like, what's the most annoying thing for him to continue to bring back, potentially, with Necromancers? I feel like card draw. Because he's already got access to Shackle with the Sanctuary Pet anyway. Or is this his best access to card draw?
You're so sweet, I could just eat you up.
So yeah. We try to limit him in terms of what he doesn't already have. So I think that's the best path.
This is interesting.
Alright, so no Conscription, that's good for us, for at least a turn.
They've no move we can't anticipate.
Has another one anyway. I mean, unless we play Ring Marak. We're not doing that. Man, every time I start laughing, it makes me want to cough. I'm really hoping I'm over this by the time that I'm casting a couple of days from now. This illness that I have been trying to kick did a number on like my chest, my throat, my voice, not being able to stream, not being able to speak apparently as I mumble through that, not being able to make content has been a real bummer, kind of a bit of a depressing time. All right, Dark Rebirth sadly doesn't tell me a whole lot either. Come on, man. So he's found all of his Black Hand Messengers. Can't even properly cast into time that nonsense. Well, what do we want to do about this? We swallowed one. I could cast into time another one to fully shut down card draw. I could just remove Harpies, potentially.
Scrumptious.
Harpies actually feels like a pretty decent play, if I'm being 100% completely honest. Like, there's not a lot of things that I really want to cast into time, but getting rid of anything that can come back later and slow me down when I'm trying to pressure him feels good. And I don't really want to Marak any of these, because we haven't seen if this is even a Conscription deck yet or not. Yeah, let's do this. I don't want to deal with... oh, so he's got another RP in hand.
Provides.
Uprising. Alright. So that's a really good turn for them. And not so good for us. Alright. So this does appear to be Uprising Telvanni, but one that runs Daggerfalls. I'm shocked, I tell you. Completely and utterly shocked. I don't really want to leave them open for another good Uprising. I feel like Odaving is a decent play here. The other option would be I could just Mirac this. Went from being in a decent spot to a not that great of a position. Yeah, I think we're gonna do this. Kind of sad that doesn't break one of my runes, but not much we can do about that. Downside is we've only seen one Sanctuary pet and like no Vipers. We also know they have a Harpy in hand. So there's an awful lot of answers that they're going to have.
They've no move we can't anticipate.
For our poor dragon there. There's a second Sanctuary pet. Experiments. Wow, they're trying to dig. They must be really close to their combo if they're expending experiments on Mastermind like that. Like that. I'll be honest, that's actually really frightening.
They've no move we can't anticipate.
Also makes me wish that I would have ate those earlier. Yeah, that is frightening. That makes me almost want to soul tear my Hallowed Death Priest. In fact, I can't see a scenario where that's not the right play at this point. Maybe I could have found Archcannon and drawn a card and buffed my Odaving. Like, I could get Necromancer into a Grizzly Gourmet here, but given the shenanigans that they just did, I feel like this has to be Hallowed Death Priest. Yeah. So there's an Ox. Like, we know that they just dug. Immortal August just dug so deep with that experiments. Oh, they haven't got a doppelganger anyway. Alright, so they probably are just gonna win here, and there's nothing I can do about it. Man. So they've got 13. I don't think they have the Path Mage for their combo. So we do have that going for us. Probably going to do this and then Uprising, though. If I had to guess. If they don't have the OTK here, we're actually in a really good position. Like, we do at least have that working in our favor, right? If they do not have the OTK, we're in a really good position. I just can't imagine that they haven't found it by now. I mean, Immortal August is almost 2/3 through their deck. Almost 2/3 through their deck, and they are drawing, like, all of the cards.
So predictable.
Just making room. Makes sense. Gotta hope that maybe we get some turn timer love as well. It's got to start ticking down soon, right? Dark Rebirth. Again, they're digging.
We can't anticipate.
Trying to find Laneth, maybe? Alright, there's the turn timer helping us out. Yeah, we really need...
I am the Queen Mother.
Okay.
Attend me.
Alright, we may have caught a break. It's hard telling at the moment, but we may have caught a break. So, we definitely just Dawn's Wrath over here. And I'm fine with using this for ramp.
Behold the light of the tribunal.
They're going to gain some health back. Not much I can really do about that. We're also going to lose the Odaving.
Right this way.
Oh, they found the
I
Path
sense great
Mage.
power in you.
Alright. So, after all of that, probably done. The only thing that might work out in our favor is the Nixoxes. And what I mean by that is, we hit one with a Death Priest, and he played another one from hand. So there's going to be one left in the deck, and we've seen 2 Doppelgangers. So they should only have 1 Nixox and 1 Doppelganger left available. So if they don't have the OTK here, we can potentially use our Marak to steal Laneth and try to shut him down in that regard. There's a lot of ifs coming from our end, though, sadly.
Must I do everything myself?
Yep, so there's the health gain.
What secrets do you seek?
Yep. So they did also have the second experiments. Or at least maybe that's what they went to fetch. And so now they can find the other pieces here.
What secrets
So this
do you
is
seek?
probably Ox and Doppelganger that they're finding, or I don't know, maybe their last Uprising. I don't know. If we top deck another Dawn's Wrath here, we might have a shot at winning. The problem is we only have 1 Dawn's Wrath left in our deck, and we're not even a third of the way through ours. So
You will submit to our gods.
well, if we had an Ice Storm to pair with our Reverberating Strike, we'd be in a good spot. If we had another Reverberating Strike, we'd be in a decent spot. Can only take out 1 out either way. So not looking great for us in that regard. So all we can do is try to neuter him as best we can, but Nixox is still an amazing deck. If you have not been running into it on the ladder, it is not because the deck has faded. The new client and some of the bugs have scared some people away. On top of that, it is a very difficult deck to pilot. So its popularity isn't necessarily high, but its power level is as high as it has been for a long, long time. So even when you don't get the OTK off, you can put your opponent in a really rough position if they're a control player. And we're seeing that here. I mean, just with what they have in the field lane there, not counting any further shenanigans that they went to fetch with Laneth, you're staring at a 2-turn clock, right? Like that's 16 damage on board. Yep, and this will find potentially the rest of the pieces. So that's the last Uprising for them. Or at least it should be. Once this is done resolving, this should tick to 3. Most of the decks only run 2 experiments, so that should be the end of that. So again, if we find a Dawn's Wrath, we might have a shot. They are down to 15 cards. So if we can just not die, like if we can remove this. Now it's not really working out in our favor here to do that, but
You will submit to our gods.
I shall tear your heart out, deceiver.
we're gonna javelin this. And
I smell the stench.
I mean, I guess
of the
drop that.
living.
Dropping it over here is like gaining 4 health. Putting it here means we maybe save this from a Viper. We're gonna, again, have to hope for, I think, a Prophecy to interrupt their push for lethal this turn. Because I have to assume it's coming. They've went and got all the pieces they could ever want.
I've noticed
We nuked
a
Sun and Shadow there, in
plan.
case you're wondering.
I
Because
will end you.
we wanted to try to push
Seems I must stoop to their level.
for lethal ourselves,
I
but
have many important
Oh,
things
well.
on my mind.
they've got it. It's gonna be that and Dark Rebirth. Good game. Good game.
I have many important things on my mind.
So we had some outs, but unfortunately, the likelihood of us finding them were going to be pretty low there. Our opponent rifled through significantly more of their deck than we did. And, like, let's be honest, Nixox is, like, the hard counter to control decks. Like, it is the apex predator of late game decks. It's better... it's heavily favored against Talvani Conscription. It's heavily favored against the deck that I was just playing, Tribunal Control, pretty much all variants of it. It's just really good. So we're up against Talvani again. Shocker, I know. We're gonna see exactly why people aren't really playing. We're going to see exactly why people aren't really playing Tribunal Control that often, I feel like. And the answer to that is because
smell the
Talvani
stench
is
of
just
the
a
living.
better archetype right now. Now I say that knowing full well there's a chance we could pull this out.
They've no move we can't anticipate.
There's a chance that we could win here. We've actually got a pretty decent hand against a control mirror.
Wrong place for a midnight.
But we're in for a brawl here. We're in for a long game. We just played one long game. We're about to play another one.
Black Hand sees all.
Yep. Not shocked by that at all, but that's okay. Sure.
At the ready.
We'll answer with that. Because we are at the ready. So the big card is that the big card we want to try to avoid or worry about is Mummify. Some Talvani decks, specifically Conscription, do like to run Mummify for some reason. I say for some reason, but like, let's be honest, we know exactly what that reason is. There's a part of me that wants to slap this down and just eat Cruel Firebloom. So that even if this did get through, it doesn't get him anything. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that's tempting for comedy reasons. Also, I'm tempted to eat Black Hand Messenger. Doing nothing just gives him another one. Doing this does nothing. I think we're gonna do it. We're just gonna eat Cruel Firebloom. Alright. I'm only inclined to do that because we also do have the Soul Tear, and while I wanted to use that to protect Parthenax in case this missed, utilizing Soul Tear to get our Piercing Twilight back also feels okay. I don't think that Necromancer on a Barrow Stalker is super helpful right now, sadly. But it's also the only play we have, and we want to pressure them. Do we want to pressure them? We're actually out. We have more cards than them. We're out valuing them at the moment. As odd as that is. Maybe we don't. We're up a card. Yeah, see? We can just play this one.
Stench of the living.
Probably should have played this to just get the instant ramp. The health isn't going to matter as much in this matchup.
Wrong place for a midnight stroll.
So, yeah, we'll even out the health totals and go ahead and just ramp. I like the idea of being ahead. They haven't ramped yet either, so... Yeah, Mummify is the big worry with Parthenax. If they don't have a Mummify, or if they don't run it, that would be even better. Then Parthenax could just loop enough to win us the game. Haven't seen enough to let us know which version we're playing against. I will admit that's a bit worrisome.
Submit to our gods.
Half tempted to use this on a Skulk because as they get closer to conscription. So as they get closer to conscription, if you can eat 2-drops, then you make their conscriptions also just less impactful overall. I mean, it's not the ideal one I want to get rid of since we already ate Fire Blooms. It's just a 2/2, so I might try to wait for more 2-drops. Man, this illness is chewing me up. But there is a temptation there because we're like 2 turns away from playing our Parthenax. I think we're going to pass for now. Maybe we'll see another 2-drop that we can use it on. But yeah, Piercing Twilight. I know a lot of people want to use it on conscription, so that they don't have any more coming, and that's fair, but if you use Piercing Twilight 2 or 3 times just on 2-drops, then you make it so their conscriptions become really overpriced for like just filling a lane. They're like a glorified Imperial improvements or whatever.
You will submit to our gods.
Not in any danger of overdrawing. We're going to play our Parthenax next turn. So I think we pass the... Oh, I guess maybe we should have played a card, because if we play Parthenax...
Must I do everything myself?
Okay. Well, we're not going to play our Parthenax next turn, because we're going to edict this thing all day long.
You will submit to our gods.
Now I have to decide if I want to use my Piercing Twilight on Ungolem or a Skulk. I think the answer is still no. I'd rather wait for one of the other guys to show up.
I slay the
We will play you, though. I think we still hold on the rest. Now the downside is, because they played Altar, we had to play Edict, which was not Parthenax, which means this turn here, they could play Conscription. And then we have to, like, spend our turn responding to Conscription, as opposed to playing Parthenax yet again.
Rise, my servant.
So, obvious annoyance. There's a chance that we just respond here anyway. Cast into time on Necromancer feels pretty good. Oh. Okay. There's also, depending on what happens here, a strong chance we just Mirac something. Like, Maracking the Shrine Guardian feels pretty good.
As powerful as you believe.
That feels pretty good indeed, actually.
You will submit to our gods.
I'm fine with that.
Drown in the river of battle.
Alright.
Hope to outrun destiny.
Oh, come on. That is, as they say in the business, some bullshit. That is some bullshit. So we have to land some removal now, huh? Realistically. And I'd like to play my Galen on a Parth or a Necromancer, one or the other, for shuffling reasons. It's kind of a tough call on which one. Necromancer makes the most sense, I think, just because of what it enables. Because it means I could start getting Piercing Twilights back.
You're so sweet, I could just eat you up.
Alright, so we're gonna do that. Man, I really don't know what I want to use my Galen here on. Again, Necromancer feels like it makes the most sense. Parthenax could just win us the game. I think it's still got to be Necromancer here.
I will keep Sotha Sil's people alive.
And then we just have to decide, do we want to use a Cast into Time on one of these Maracs, or do we want to use a Piercing Twilight on one of these Maracs? I think it's Cast into Time here. Threaten to trade with the 8/8 on the other side. I have to assume it's going to eat a Viper, but maybe not. He could just trade into it with his own Marac and then Ice Storm, but I think that's a win for us, if I'm being honest. Alright. So they're going to do that.
Hold my creation.
And a Mechanar. Ew. Okay. There's like no way that turns out well for us. And then they Desperate Conjuring again.
Speak with the voice of the Night Mother.
Oof.
Yo, part two.
I want that Cast into Time back. Alright, so Odahviing and Parthenax are looking really good at the moment. However, we have stuff on the board that we just can't let them do anything with. Like at all. Old Velothi.
Repel the Outlanders.
Scrumptious.
So yeah, we're gonna do that. Got some interesting stuff that our opponent is doing over there, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Rise.
we're gonna do this, but now I have to try to decide, do I want the Barrow Stalker to just try to protect against this and also maybe give me some health back or make him deal with it, or do I want this? But that doesn't really help me with anything, so I guess, well, I guess we could just grab the Gourmet and chew that up. I like that the best.
You're so sweet, I could just eat you up.
I think that's our best bet there. There's a strong chance. Oh, that is not good for us, because that was a Necromancer.
We must count on our wits.
Oof. Oh, and they have Uprising. Okay. We're gonna lose just flat out 2 straight games to Uprising Telvanni. Because it turns out that's still really good against other control decks.
Creation. The
Yep.
perfect life form.
Him hitting this was so insane. I don't think there's anything that gets me out of this. I need Odiving to trigger twice, and I don't have any way to make that happen. I can, however, just double Ice Storm. Still leaves this up, though. But it means I'm not dead.
Behold my power.
Scrumptious.
Alright, so yeah. That's the best we got. They get a fistful of cards. Of course they hit another Necromancer with the second Mechanar trigger. Because they chewed up one of the ones I shuffled in. Why wouldn't they?
Behold my creation.
Yep.
The perfect life form.
That Mechanar is going to single-handedly whip my ass. Mages Guild recruit?
The things I'll do to their corpses.
I mean, at least we found Dawn's Wrath. So we can do that.
They've no move we
Maybe-
can't anticipate.
Maybe find an answer. I mean, I guess we take this because the Mastermind doesn't help us a ton right now anyway. Yeah, I still don't see a scenario where we can win this just because of the sheer value they generated. Like, unless everything that they play here is just 100% ultra tiny. Which, I mean, there's no way that's going to be a thing, right? But maybe, theoretically, Odiving gets us into it. It's not likely, though.
They've no move we can't anticipate.
Yep. I mean, they know that we've already played 2 Ice Storms. What are they going to do? Dark Rebirth this? Conjuring? Ew. What is that, their 3rd Conjuring? 2nd Conjuring, 2nd Tinkering? 3rd, okay, so. So Odiving clears everything but that, but then I can't play Harpy on top of it, and then I'm, like, let's be honest, I'm just dead at that point. Could just Dawn's Wrath, but then that's my last Dawn's Wrath. Oh, I mean, we could use our Soul Tear to start trying to maybe get some health back if we had a willpower creature, but we do not. Even if I shackle this, the problem is we're just dead to silence. Is that their first, like, of their own necromancers? Technically their second, because that was made from 2. Just ripping them right off the top of my deck, huh? So I could, like, bolt, negation, harpy, and then they would need to do 8 to me. But then I leave that out for... That's the other problem, is I can't really let this survive because of future uprisings. So I think that the play is that. And then I actually think that we eat Uprising. So either they only run 1 or they've already got 2 in their hand, in which case that is backbreaking. You can just see the defeat on my face as I realize that these hour-long marathons are going to be futile because I queued twice into a direct counter in the form of Uprising Telvanni decks.
Feel the power within you.
Yeah, they're trying to ramp up for something silly now. So we're just gonna punch him in the face and clear their board. I assume that they now have lethal because at 14 a Path Mage finds Uncano.
I have many important things.
Oh, or they just have Uncano, and then they will blink it and we'll die the same way we died last game. Yeah, Uprising because it's discounted. Why wouldn't it be? All right. Ironically, if they didn't have answers to our board, we threatened lethal between the board that we had and Lightning Bolt. But anyway, there you have it, I guess. Turns out Tribunal is still not good against Uprising Telvanni. So that's a thing. Thanks for watching. Wish I could have given you a win, but you can't. I guess, yeah. Thanks for watching. Until next time, may you walk on warm sands.